lose you, baby.
Alright, before that, because the secret ingredient look like you're ready for jumping on the pot.
Stay close to me where you're supposed to be.
So let me let go off of the vibe.
Love hurts, but I love.
And drop this pre-life real quick.
I'm gonna make it. I know I'm gonna.
Courtesy of Red Fox.
If I just give it my best shot.
Every week.
If I give it
right here, Reggae Global Radio.
I'ma keep on trying.
It's called Pre-Life.
No time for crying. Red Fox. Them said this is America, land of the free. Say what you want, be what you wanna be. Tell you if you're smart, you can shake the money tree, but you will fall short if you don't focus. Listen to me. One heap of distractions, so much to see. Breathe from a distance, walk carefully, don't make them turn you with a madman. Yeah, the sanity, the ants of Babylon, nah, no mercy. People change when them come here, the struggle is so real. Especially in the winter when the wind start to deal. Your toe get numb, can't feel your heel. Nose all around, skin dry up and a peel. In the snow like a seal. Can't move your car, you have to dig out the wheel. Chip off your eyes and for the windscreen. Things say it nice in the dollar wanna dream. One bag of pretty lights, but it's not what it seems. God know you have to fight the slave making machine. But time it get tight and nothing just not come in. You have to hold it and bite your fingernail. Oh, you mean? You have your kids and your wife. Enough mouth for feed, reality cut like a knife. You're a black man indeed. Can the son play ball? Do him have a good speed? Can the rap any at all? Do him know for sell weed? Pray to get a call to take him off for the streets. Need to get a scholarship cause tuition are cheap. Babylon Pump Patrol, corrupted police. Go like the North Pole, them out a road like a beast. Can't wait for all your little black youths, them you see it. Have them under control and full up them rap sheet. No, them can't get a job, them records release. Or you think them get bad, or you think them turn teeth. Well, let's move on to the corporations who not cooperate with no kind of programs. The demand is great from these father and moms who can't even wash them face, no time for lotion. Always in a here so much commotion, can't even tidy up them place, them want promotion. The money them a get can't pay the loan. Damn. Them graduate from college now 2 decades long. Nobody get sick, cause them no response. It's all about if you have good insurance. Drop down a ground, call the ambulance. As you wake up so boom, you're in a debt by grants. Try pay it quick, protect your credit. Without good credit, you can't buy this. This is America, one big market. Remember why you come here and don't forget it.
Remember why you come here and don't you dare forget it. The sound of Red Fox. You can follow him as Original Red Fox on all social media platforms. That was Pre-Life. This right now, Facebook Live doses to you. Jump on over if you want to know who the secret ingredient is. ReggaeGlobalRadio.com. Now, this moment, right here, at this time, everywhere in the world, for the first time.
This is America.
Hold on. Red Fox, behave yourself. Anyway, for the first time. Oh, my apologies. You know, so my day and things say you hear me and now I realize you not hear me. I said. Anyway.
Me? I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the Saturday Stew, not the first time with Kevin Stew, but the first time on the Saturday Stew, as the secret ingredient, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you no stranger to Reggae Global Radio or the world, the one and only Mr. G. Cole.
Get all applause. Oh, that's that.
Are you name G. Cole in a Bridget?
Promo. Give thanks for the strength.
Yo, welcome to the Saturday Stew, Bridget. As a secret ingredient, big up to you, sir. No,
sir.
No stranger on any broadcast of mine. But welcome nonetheless. Truly appreciate if you could have taken some time out to get Melly, calm down, Melly. It's only G Cole. Calm down.
Oh, you love Melly, you know. Much love Melly. Love Melly, you know. Love Melly. The girl right there.
Yo. Alright, so most people on Reggae Global know the 1 and 2 tunes that people will bounce off the G Cole catalog. But mostly know of the artist G. Cole. I mean, sorry, the presenter G. Cole. And
Right.
so today, as a secret ingredient, we get a little time, not a lot of time, just about half hour, and we get to chit chat a little bit, and you can tell the story of the humble beginnings of G. Cole, when every week was our first real love while him wearing khaki pants going to school. And big up the arts everywhere, anywhere you are right now.
Why? That's all I can say. Why?
So you make certain people know your business. Yeah.
Boy, man, I tell you. Listen, it's amazing you mentioned that because that's the type of stuff that follows me everywhere, from basic school to primary school to high school, military school, college, whatever the case may be. I always getting the same stuff, man. Like, music has always been my life, but it's always been like a thing that get me in trouble more time, I remember one time, I told this story to Tony Curtis one time. I was at Ferncourt. I used to have rapping going on, which is when, you remember rapping, where the artists used to go on like a tour of the schools.
Yeah.
So word was, we were going to get Jigsy King and Tony Curtis at Ferncourt School. That was the word on the street.
Right.
This chick who, fine boy, she come up to me, and for some reason, I guess the name Cole wasn't that common to her, so I'm from Ocho Rios, Courtney Cole, who ran the Roof Club, a Roof International label, which was the label at the time for Jigsy King and Tony Curtis. She put the two and two together, and she's like, you know Courtney Cole? Normally people ask me this all the time just because of the Ocho connection, and I'd be like, nah, man, just because my name Cole and your name Cole, I must know him. So this chick came up to me and she's like, do you know Courtney Cole? I was so annoyed, man. When I turned around, forgot to that, I said, no, I am Sarah. And she fine like about 18 buckle of wine. You know what my response was?
Yeah, man, I'm a cousin.
You mean Uncle Courtney? So I hit her with the, you mean Uncle Courtney? So of course, I don't know. I was, I think, advantage. So for a little minute, we were, just to each other eye, and we were like a thing for a very short period of time, because rapping was about a week running.
Right.
So needless to say, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on, and the real artist that we're going to get was not Jigsy King and Tony Curtis. It wasn't Jigsy solo, it wasn't Tony Curtis solo. On the day of rapping, we were there. And all I hear somebody say is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we present to you Mr. Brushy One String. I'm here with chicken and a corn, and the corn can't grow. Yeah, mama. Needless to say, that Kevin Steele. Needless to say, this is a high school campus. High school campuses are not that big, I kid you not when I said, when I looked around and she looked at me and she walked away, I had never, it sounds very phantom, it sounds very fairy tale, but I had never laid eyes on that girl again for the rest of my tenure in that high school. Either she just avoid me, she quit school, or whatever the case may be, but that was just, I'm just that music I get me that trouble from. Like that. You know what I mean? But
the one time you claim relation.
Uncle Courtney.
Uncle Courtney calls you a girl.
Uncle Courtney helped me to get the girl. I brush you one string, lose with the girl. So, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, people probably don't know what brush is, but you remember brush you one string?
Yeah, what?
Chicken in the car, and the car can't grow. I was like, yo, Jano.
Did he ever do anything else?
Jano.
I can't recall.
I think he had another one, because at the time it was him and Shaggy Wonder, who then became Mr. Absolute. They had a couple of joints, but that was the one that kind of took off, and are relatively speaking take off. But I think advantage of the thing from like them, aren't you? Only reason we sing music, I ain't even going front. Let me tell you something. So, I am that guy. It's football thing is to do it until the girl them show up a bass singing. You want to hear my bass? You see all that song that Teddy Greaves drop One Last Cry?
Yeah.
That was my go-to joint for the girl them in the night. So every day we are sing like Sanchez for Pierre Girl, and guess what? Just two, 3 albums later, here we are.
So wait. It was the opportunity that you seized to get the girl or a few girls, we're not going to limit it to quantity. So,
For sure.
but
You don't want
to,
to do that.
but to get the girl that took you to singing,
No, well, yeah. Here's what happened. Here's what would
tell the
happen.
truth now. Tell the truth.
I write. I write and I still do, but I wrote poetry, right? I still love writing poetry. Poetry would get you all the rating and the respect from the teachers, right? Who beans? Who cares? You know what I mean? Give us an A or B, whatever.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
the singing's got the girl in. So I would write the poetry and then turn that into song. But then no, we'd go on these cadet camps and these different camps and listen, we have to work with time, you know.
Right.
So when they go on a cadet camp for a week, we don't have no 6 and 7 and 8 days and 2 weeks with court nobody. We got 1 day to make sure they impress somebody or 2 days to impress somebody, and the next 4 days I feel that until I go back to school, right?
That's right. That's right.
Listen, nobody now watch the program, so I'm here alone, I listen about that feed. So,
Yeah, man.
so, so I am a trumpeter and I'm there doing my thing. People dig the trumpet, okay? You can't really play nothing sexy on the drums, right? So I'm dig the trumpeter.
Lie you a tell.
Dig the you to play football. I tell you something. You give me a melody on the drum and me tell you so the crack is really working.
You see, that's,
All right?
that's just it, you know. You
So-
haven't really seen me play drums, you know. So we'll win.
Yeah. Okay. So no, bear in mind when I talk about snare drums here, when I talk about a drum set, you know, it's a marching band. A
Yeah,
military band.
Yeah,
so
man.
so you know, so the drummer
Drum
then
corps.
it's the coolest thing to be up front with the drums.
I was there.
When you were there, you know
I
what I'm
was
talking
there.
about.
Yes, I was there.
But when we separate and with this band, I'm gonna go up on the end over there. So you can play another girl and play a drum after rat them the funny. But one time we start going and start getting them all kind of love songs from the trumpet. Yo, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
trumpet's
man.
working.
When they,
But then we have
you
to
play that
excel
triplet,
past that. No.
and then you play that triplet, then they know that you're skilled. You're really skilled.
Yeah, hey, I'm just saying.
But trumpet was my first
But then-
instrument, so I know.
Oh, you play? Oh, yeah, you play trumpet too.
Trumpet was my very first instrument at age 10.
Trumpet was not my first was keys. But I never stopped because, you know, it was one of them things where you'd get sent to music class and everything there.
Yeah.
And I don't know about your music classes, but my music classes, even into school, were the most boring things in the world. And that's what I always wondered with music teachers. You know, them can't find nothing fun to teach you off of. It's always some rad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it became my way of getting out of situations. So anytime something them want, oh, you know, some have music class, don't mommy. Yeah, yo, dad, I gotta go to music class, man. And I was out. But keys is where I started off,
Yeah.
and as far as like my first, I'd say real instrument where I played professionally was trumpet. And but now, man, trumpet, yeah, trumpet. But when you sing, the ladies love that mess. So when I discovered that, now you see a little con over there, so like 4 persons, and then they turned to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It was me and my little fake group. I sing to I swear like a wee name Alpha One.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And another 2 or 3 people who can sing. I'm telling you, man, dropping them vocals, man. The ladies
It's
love
Alpha
the stuff.
Uno.
They still love it to this day. Alpha Uno. Yeah, I mean. So it was always the mainstay and the main source, and that's why we do this music to this. No. Oh, I know that one. No, that's not why I do it anymore. Let me try.
Oh, so we need to know why. So we need to know why you do it now. Yeah, because you can't make that statement. You can't make that slip out. I'm not gonna emphasize it. You know, I'm not gonna emphasize it. That's it.
Please. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate love. Thanks for the saving.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? The coaches in our house are very comfortable. It don't mean I want to sleep with them.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
At least you get to stay in the
I'm
house.
The strategy is make sure it's every room comfortable, right?
Right.
People always say, I'm gonna sleep on the couch. Biggest TV's in the living room, baby. You gotta strategize, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So,
That's what the thing go.
so you were there singing in high school, and were you discovered by anyone while you were there? You know, anybody said, "Boy, hey, this guy has something." You know, let's take him and do something.
Yeah, the choir directors is another boring situation. You know, get discovered by the choir director is not a good thing. Sometimes you want, and sometimes you want to be undiscovered.
Struggle, boy.
You want to retract the discovery. Because again, church choir, military school, you know, and we're in the choir. And like I said, most times if there are two fun hymns in this book, them now nothing to do with that. I'm gonna look for the boring one. But you know, a funny story is, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's too fun.
It's
That's
funny,
too
you know.
fun. That's too fun. Nah, but I game that one day.
Yes. You know, it's kind of funny though, you know, Greg. G Cole.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's all good.
It's habit. I can't stop. You went to military school. I grew up going to church in the Salvation Army.
Mm-hmm.
You played trumpet. My first instrument was trumpet. Your first instrument was keyboard. One of the last instruments I taught myself to play was keyboard.
Right.
And the choir thing, well, it kind of go hand in hand. I couldn't get away from the music classes either because just my father figure that was teaching me to play. But my father figure was the bandmaster. He was the one teaching me to play music.
Right.
And I had to get up out of my bed on a Saturday morning and walk from Zeta Gardens to Huenden. And then I finally got a chance to ride my bicycle. And my ride go Huenden. And I had to spend that 2 hours, you know, learning music theory, learning fingering, learning, and that wasn't fun either. It's not what people think it is. You can relate. It's not it's not the kind that people think.
I know not what you speak of. Me, a wholesome church-going individual like me, I know not what you speak of. So I have no idea.
There you go. Yes, twinkle fingers.
Well, you know the struggle. You know the struggle. The struggle is ridiculously real.
The choir director found you, and
the choir director did.
You got some solos out of that?
I did, but I got kicked out of the choir too for like a week because earworm now.
What's your name?
I was I was a huge Boyz II Men fan, right? I was a huge Boyz II Men fan. And out of the group Boyz II Men, I was a huge Sean Stockman fan. Them time I was skinny, you know, not like I am right now. Skinny, and I had the Sean Stockman Q-tip haircut on the one. Right? Sideburns, and you can't tell me it's not a medium Sean Stockman, right?
That's right.
So, you can't tell me it's not a medium Sean
marriage
Stockman.
good to you, though.
There.
Marriage good to you.
Huh?
You've blossomed. Okay. The marriage is good to you.
It's water weight. You know, the ladies call it water weight. I'm with that too. It's water weight. You know what I mean? So, nah. But me doing I remember vividly we were practicing. It was carol service time. It was coming to the end of the year. Christmas, we have our carol service, and they wanted to sing "Oh Christmas Tree." And you know, if you know "Oh Christmas Tree," it has a tempo. You know what I mean? It's an up tempo joint. You know what I mean? Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree. You know what I'm saying? But me, a Sean Stockman fan now, so you can't tell me nothing. You know, Sean always the ballads and drag out the thing.
Yeah.
So all right. And when them start to play, no, in my expert for the oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas, no, I'm not oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas. I give the Sean Stockman, and I said no, pull up. One more time. I am Sean Stockman, you can't tell me nothing. So I am dragging out every note, I'm singing everything. Half an hour later, I was out of the choir. Oh, leave, so because I was Sean Stockman, right? These are the days I've taken the school camcorder to go shoot music video. I accidentally shoot over the graduation, right? With our graduation, it's a military school, so we have like intricate but elaborate displays for the marching band.
Right.
And we had one of them recorded, but guess what now? Me and our brethren as DJ and me as singer, we decided so I had the R. Kelly song and then I drop a DJ point. And we just grab the camera and say, what? Taping of the camera? What? Film. Right? And needless to say, I wouldn't go further because I don't think I confess that I'll do this day. But yeah, so I got kicked out of the choir. But the only thing is, there were probably about 7-8 more songs that I had solos in, so they had to bring me back in a couple of days later after some strong reprimand. But
jeez,
you know, but so that's where it starts. You know, you get discovered by the choir. But where the bug really come into play, I was working at NCB St. Anne's Bay.
Mm-hmm.
This was after graduating. I was there for a year before moving to the US, and we were moving from the old building to a brand spanking new building that was built, and we were having like a commemoration for that building,
Right.
and different stuff going on, and they asked us to put together something. So a bridge of mine, Sheldon Brown, was a DJ, bad DJ, some write some lyrics, and of course, I was singing along. So what I did is I took the Sukiya song and then just changed the words to say this building is for you. You know what I mean? So and then when we performed that one live, now I'm talking about everybody was there from corporate to, it was a packed house.
Right.
People from the media, people from NCB corporate, people from the government, all kind of stuff, and the feedback was just tremendous. And I think that's where the bug actually bit. But shortly thereafter, I departed and I came to the US, and of course with the blessing of the Almighty, I met a close neighbor of mine, which was Purpose, my bass player at the time in the Raps and Coach band, Jagai band, who is his stepdad at the time was Richie Daly from Third Road.
Right.
And then of course that's where the encouragement and all that stuff go. That's why I have to give a lot of credit to Richie, because Richie encouraged. He's not gas you up until I said things sound good. You're growing.
Yep.
But every time he came from the road and stuff like that, he's like, okay, so what did you guys work on? Let me hear it. What? That sounds good. And I have right now maybe a CD of the first probably 10, 15 songs that I wrote there and recorded. And sometimes I'm tempted to redo them or release them, but those are the vaults. You know what I mean? Those are stuff that will never see the light of day. But those are with Richie. Even Richie, I produced some of them things up on a little drum machines to have at the time.
Yeah.
We're talking 2001, 2002. Shoot, prior to that, maybe like 97, 98, 99, them time there, coming up, you know what I mean? Just early recordings.
Right.
And that's where the start was. And of course, once we put that band together, the unity was there. You talk about Jayu, you talk about J-Will, the musicians themselves, Bones, a bunch of talented people. And, Iron Sharp, Iron, so, you got a bunch of talented people, so they bring the best out of you.
I just said J-Will, sorry.
How was that?
Happy anniversary, J-Will. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, love your life.
Yeah, man.
That album there, magic. So that's where it came from, man. And then I always wanted to be behind the scenes. I love being behind the scenes. Did some writing for some other artists. Wrote probably half of that Love Your Life album too. Wrote mine.
Nice.
Wrote for some people over there in Mexico. Wrote for Singing Melody, a whole bunch of stuff, and just been a fun ride ever since.
Which tunes you wrote for Singing Melody?
There's a song on the classic rhythm called Special Love. Classic rhythm produced by Flavor Morrigo.
Yeah.
That one had Barris on there, it had Etan, it had a whole bunch of Maxi Kings and so forth. So that Singing Melody tune, Special Love, that was me.
Nice. I mean, you got some skills under that harsh exterior,
Right, so if you now, diversify my portfolio.
You didn't write something for the cartel, man. Write something for the cartel. Send it, go give you.
Yeah, you never know.
That might be
Never
his
know.
get out of jail
it.
card.
I'm not opposing it.
That might be his get out of jail card. Just right there.
Yeah, so, my indictment card. So that's situations.
So, fast forward a few years, you've done some tracks, you've connected with some people along the lines, and somehow, some way, instead of standing behind a mic, you end up sitting behind a mic.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
It's, them say if you want, to God laugh, tell me your plans. You've heard that before, right? But what it is I spend so much time. Sometimes we think we want to do a thing, and don't get me wrong, the love for music hasn't declined, and it will never.
Right.
But it's a lot of traveling. I remember when that Butcher Race album came out. Shoot, I remember prior to that, once we put the album out, a whole bunch of traveling. When the first album came out, it was traveling around the US trying to get the stuff out there. You know what I mean?
Right,
Mostly, we didn't do the atypical gigs at the places that would require the covers. We were pushing the original stuff. So we're doing a lot of festival vibes. We would go to Jamaica to the Jazz and Blues. Did a couple of little spots in Jamaica trying to make the rounds and so forth.
That was you and Raps.
Then when the Butcher Race album,
right?
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah,
all of us. And then when the Ultra Race album came out now, then same thing, but I did like radio promo tours in US and in the UK and Europe, but that was just me. So, because that's a further distance and budget and the So what I did pretty much is I just said, you know what, we're headed to vacation, so let's just turn it into whatever. And I made all my I made the itinerary around my vacation time. So funny enough, now when my wife skipped through some of them vacation pictures, she one night I was absent because while they were at the Louvre or while they were here or there, you know what I mean?
You're performing.
Some of them I'm there, but I'm at the radio station. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the newspaper. I'm at this and that and doing that, and it's just a lot. You know what I'm saying? So here I am back home now, pushing the music. And one thing I realized, and I have to give thanks to the Almighty for all blessings, because fortunately for me, I was not in a position where I was relying on the music to pay the bills.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that to me is a blessing in itself, because that's where the compromises come, and that's when, but for me, I could work off of passion, I could work off of love, I could work off of energy. And my observation pretty much was that most of the artists around, not just local artists here, but just artists that weren't established, weren't getting to be heard. You know what I mean?
Right.
They weren't getting to be heard. And I'd also by then done 500, 600 interviews, of which majority of them were terrible. Because what I realized is most people who are behind the microphone, most people behind the microphone, I select that one, and they're terrible. So I learned a couple of interviews in that, okay, once I detect that this person don't know what they're doing, I have to take over because of the fact that I have a product to push.
Yeah, push your product, yeah.
You know what I mean? And something to bring to the masses, me and the product. So if I realize that the person behind the microphone sucks, then I kind of just have to take over. No, I'm not doing it, forcefully. I'm not doing it in from a disrespectful way. But
you see, now it makes sense, Now it makes sense. It was what, 90? Like, not 90 nothing. It was how much years ago that I brought you on the night shift.
Let's just say a few years ago. But I the number.
That is why. See, no, I know.
It's some agree with my people.
No, I know. Thank you here. Thank you.
See me how the thing drop. No, but it's. I tell you this. The stuff that you've done when you do these interviews, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, I could probably count on my hand. And I'm not saying I spoke to 500 or thousands of people, but I've done multiple interviews with same people. But I've spoken to between Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, Jamaica, the US here, crap load of different radio folks. And you learn right then and there that, okay, this person might have a following, might have a vibe, might just be bad. And as a selector and whatever, and here he is running this radio program.
Right.
So that's where it came to be. So I felt at that point in time that something had to be done. I just didn't know what it was going to be. So needless to say, I had a studio at home, right? I'd created the studio as a demo studio. I had the equipment, the software, everything that I could do my own album at home. I just don't have the engineering skills. I leave that to the professionals.
Right.
So what I would do is if you send me the rhythm, I would write the song, voice that song at my studio 10 times, go it over.
Right.
And once it's tight and once it's right, because a lot of time we have in our head and what come out it should speak as a two different something like sound like how you imagined it. So every time I went to the studios, I was known as the guy who is one take. The brother would come in and people are like, yo, that you're wicked. Anytime you come in, it's one take and the thing slap. But the truth is, I did 100 takes at the crib.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't know what happened before you got there.
Nah, they don't know none of that. They don't know none of that. So I just come, do that, and I have everything there. And then once I decided, all right, I want to take a look at break now, I look around and I see all this equipment. And that's when I started doing the podcast, right? It started out as just an audio podcast.
A one-off.
Not just
podcast.
One-off. Yeah, it was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be.
I remember that.
I didn't want to make. You remember that, right?
I remember that.
Yeah, man. And it wasn't just supposed to be music and artists, because the very first episode of that one is actually mental health in the community. But I definitely, my goal was whatever conversations I was having, heavy conversation, sometimes I have to find something to make it more palatable, right? You know,
Right,
talk about
right.
some people get depressed. So I started sliding light music into it. And that's how the whole playing music came to be. So when I had that episode where I'm talking to the mental health professional, after a couple of questions I would got in and it's getting heavy, then I'd slide out one song, like a two song. And we kept going that way. And then, of course, I started talking to my favorite artists and, Richie Daly, I had Hope Down Linda on, I had a whole bunch. I just kept growing.
Right,
and
right,
then, live stream started coming to play.
Mm-hmm.
Got one camera. And I said, let's do this. So if you actually check out the first episodes on video,
Mm-hmm.
it's like panels. I had one with Zemra was there, Rockwell was there, Yendi was there, like 5 people up in the room. And then I did that a couple of times, but this one room, 5 people, couple of mics, one camera, and then it just evolved. You know what I mean? The feedback was great. People are loving it.
Right.
And just started to turn out into a bunch of cameras. And you know them thing addictive to it, Kevin, too. You know the thing already. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Technology and the tech stuff. My wife, it's like when you have the Krispy Kreme and people say, the lights pull you in. My wife used to say, I can't drive past a Guitar Center or something. something. And then it evolved and that's where it came. And ultimately I had a guest, and I'm going to say who the guest was. I had a guest in the studio, was an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name Homegrown, because I was doing this in the studio at home.
Right.
So I had an artist come to do an interview, and he showed up a little bit late, so I was already on air, and I was doing radio that night too. So when the artist come in now, and my wife said, he's here. I said, all right, just bring him in for me, please, and whatnot. And so she was like, cool. She brought him in. He was there. He joined the foray. And when I went to commercial, I said to him, I'm going to grab you some water. You good? And him say, yeah, man. So when I go out in my living room, I 7 man I seen in my living room.
Mm-hmm.
So because I wasn't aware of this because I'm in the studio, right?
Right.
When I go out there, it's just 7 man in my living room. I said, this is the last of it. Mark and my wife not complaining, but I can't take them kind of chances.
Right.
With my family. I got a wife, I got a daughter.
Right.
So hence, right then and there, the Homegrown studio was about to exit. And that's how everything started growing. And people just started loving what we're doing, man. And then the radio station started reaching out. Started with the international ones, the ones overseas, which was great because I don't really. I'm not a fan of being in one avenue. I've had the radio stations, especially the FM ones, the brick and mortar ones, and even the internet stations too. Will ask to, hey, can you do something exclusive? Can it just be here? And I'm like, no. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I said no, pretty much, is because my stuff was not your atypical. I'm not a DJ. To this day, I give you that, and I give all the people who actually do that. I am not a DJ. You know what I mean? It's not my avenue of expertise. I will play great music for you. Don't ask me if it makes nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So when they ask you to do the exclusive stuff, I'd say no, because for me, if I brought you on and I did an interview with you, when I did that interview, if I'm on one station and me play that Monday, you can't play it back Tuesday. We can't play back Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but if I did it and I played it on this station on Monday, I could play it on that station on Tuesday. So I became that guy that if you come and do an interview with G. Cole, you're going to get exposed to a plethora of different platforms. And then by the end of the week or the next 2 weeks, you've been exposed to Africa, UK, the Europe, the local marketing. And I always tell people, yes, the international space is great. And that's where most people want to be exposed. But you don't ever want to ignore your home base. Social media and them things that will give you a false sense of reality and make you feel say, I don't need this, but you do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I always try to hammer home and make sure that you're known at home. I remember sitting down with Junior Gang one time. I have a reason with him, and then he brought it back up to say, make sure say, if you can't sell out home, where are you gonna go sell out? You know what I'm saying? If you can't knock down the walls at home, which wall you're gonna knock out? So and I do believe in that, even though we always say, well, a king is not appreciated in his own country or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say that.
But
sometimes you have to get a little hype outside before the people inside recognize that you have something going on here. Yeah, it happens that way sometimes. But you manage to hold a decent balance as we head to the top of the hour for the hard break. You manage to hold a decent balance, and every now and then you toss out a tune here and there. I appreciate love that because I love my G Cole tune them, And you know my
Yes.
favorite G. Cole tune is not a solo.
It never is, right?
You and
It
Sheila
never is.
Doe. That tune there.
I know, man.
That tune
That's
there.
a movie.
Boy.
That's a movie, man. That's
And my better portion to this day still works out to Ultra and Live Your Life.
right,
To this
right.
day.
Ah, you know, it's amazing, the whole Sheila Dow situation, and that's why when things happen organically,
Hmm.
she's from Honduras, right?
Yeah.
And she's a pop singer, never did reggae, none of that today. And her sister was here wrapping up school, art institute. She's over there and she's finishing up an album. So we were at the culture room. That was the time we opened for Steelpulse. And her sister was there with her friend. And the sister came through, saw us, loved it, filmed whatever, sent it back to her because her producer was telling her over there, said, boy, you need one more song for the album. We're at the top of the hour. You need to take a break?
Well, you know how it go. The TV side still going. You know how it go.
Okay. 'Cause I know how y'all do in Hollywood. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Bills, the bills, baby.
Yeah.
So-
So the bills
so she,
getting paid on the radio side.
Oh, okay. So the bills not get paid over TV. All right.
It soon start pay over the TV side. Radio bills are take
But
care
yeah,
of TV.
her sister sent her the info, and she loved it. And she said it was She sent her a clip of me doing When I.
Mm.
And then her sister reached out and said she coming over. And when she headed over, if we can do something. And I'm like, yeah, cool. But I was promoting the Ultras album at the time. So when she came here, I was rather busy.
Right.
And she waited. She extended her ticket for about 2 weeks and whatever. Once I settled down, I felt so bad. I was like, yo, I have this girl that I wait for however long. You know what I mean? I'm going like Amelia and Jay-Z. And people for waiting for me. So I'm like, she waited and I met her and I just love her energy. We click out right away. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you the best I got. So I had to reach out to J Vibe. You know what I mean? Because I know he could have delivered. I say, yo, J Vibe, this is the situation. I need this, need that. And of course, the In the Clothes rhythm was just about to drop. As a matter of fact, it did just drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sent me that rhythm. I'm like, cool. And her and I were having a conversation. We're talking about, as we always do, the battle of the sexes, how men view things, how women view things.
Right.
And I'm always telling her pretty much, you know what I mean? When a man see a thing, the difference in men and women is women are planned forever, man are planned tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right.
So women are size you up. It's gonna be a good husband, boyfriend, whatever. The man I think about is, yo, tonight I got turn up. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So that's the convo. And then that's why I was like, when Boy Meets Girl, and I wrote my verse, which my verse was, I'd written that first. And then I said, let me get your opinion, but let's go when Girl Meets Boy. And she told me what happens when Girl Meets Boy. So, we penned that part of it. She did her part, I did mine. But then it was really for her project. So we kind of switched it around so that her verse come first.
Right.
So that it's evident that it's her song, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's one of my favorite songs. I'm not gonna know that. It's one of my favorite songs. And if you go YouTube, they documented the whole thing.
Yeah.
So when Girl Meets Boy, it's called documentary, and they documented the whole thing and how it came about. So that's one of my favorite joints, man. And she loved it, her people loved it, and it's been one of those songs worldwide that everybody loved.
Yeah, ever since the moment you sent me that track, I was like, yo, this. And I've been playing it and playing it. I remember when you started doing the podcast thing, I used to tune in and type in on social media, yo, the Sheila Dow tune.
And that was cool because and you'll notice to this day, I don't play a lot of my music on my show.
Yeah.
As well as when artists come in, no matter how big or how mainstream the artists are or not, I don't normally mention the fact that I don't want them to be uncomfortable, because a lot of times creatives can be very sensitive. And I am, like I said, I'm not a DJ, so I have the luxury of saying, I like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And nobody can feel that way. I got these headphones on. This is where I listen to my music. So whatever is in my headphones, what I share with the masses. So if you send me something, I'm gonna like it. Yo, man, listen to my headphone. The world like a irritate. But if you send it to me, I'm gonna like it. I'm not gonna play it just for pacify. I don't care if I you the killer. I kill an artist. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's just me. So what would happen pretty much is I don't let the artists know that because I don't want them to be, for lack of a better word, insecure across the table talking to whom they deem and shit competition. I mean, shoot.
Right.
Competition, right? So
we apologize.
So for that reason, the views expressed by G Cole doesn't represent those of Kevin Stewart, right?
Our Reggae Global Radio, or the Foundation Radio
Our
Network.
Reggae Global Radio. Our Foundation Radio are the other 500 affiliates. You know what I mean? But it's one of the things where I try to make sure that when the artists come here with top music, by the end of the conversation, based on certain things or whatever, it may come up.
Yeah.
But I don't want somebody sitting across from me thinking that they're being interviewed out of my reason with another artist, because again, they'll take things personal. They'll take things a certain way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the respect is garnered based on, okay, they see why I'm able to give an opinion. They see why I'm able to view and weigh in a certain way, because there's a certain experience there that being in the trenches afforded me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what makes it a little different. And I'm definitely grateful, because the feedback that I get from the people who come in and also their people, you know, their management, their team, or whatever the case may be, shows that they're, you know, whatever road and journey we're taking is working out.
So for you, one of the big things was some of them horrible interviews that you did taught you how to not do an interview, and you decided that you were not going to be one of those guys.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't one of those guys, as well as by then I am now aware of what we need to get out to the masses. And the thing is, what I learned, especially and with the growth and getting into 2020, 2021, started realizing that, listen, music free, you know, it's not supposed to be, but it is free. And by that, what I mean is this: if I put out a song today, then you have the song from yesterday. You know what I mean?
Right.
These kids ain't no joke. So if you drop an album March 1st, they might be from February 27th.
Yeah, what?
You know what I'm saying? So if you're asking somebody to go out there and spend them, it's not a lot of money. That's the thing that always irks me. Music, cheap. It costs a lot to make, but technically it's cheap. You can spend 99 cents for something and have it for the rest of your life. There's nothing else in the world except music that you can spend 99 cents for, or even $9.99 for, and it lasts you more than a week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the music I could be forever. However, even though it's that inexpensive, people find it hard to spend the money supporting the thing. So what I figured is, when somebody does buy your music, and I learned this when I came off a stage at the Culture Room or wherever across the world we're performing, when I came off of a stage, they weren't buying the song. What they were buying is a piece of me.
Individual, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When somebody comes to me and say, in a day of digital downloads and all them things, and we sell CDs after the show, we got a merch table, and somebody comes and buy a t-shirt and buy a CD and we can sign that on the poster or whatever the case may be, they may never put that CD in the CD player because they're playing from iTunes. You know what I'm saying? Or wherever else they're playing from, but they're taking a piece of you. So my thing pretty much is, I used to have conversations with the guests at the show prior to them going on. So if I have a show starting at 7 o'clock, I ask my guests to get there from 6:30, right? And we're talking whatever. One, get them comfortable. So we're comfortable now. The ice is broken. We don't have to break the ice on camera. Right. And then the other thing pretty much now is to kind of let them know what we're about to do. So that's why I have what we call interviews, and then we have radio interviews. If I'm on the radio and you have a song I promote, they want 5 minutes, it's all good. But when you're doing that interview, to let the people connect with you, that's why when I'm done, these people know you in and out. Them know where you grew up, them know your likes, your dislikes, who trouble you, who you trouble, whatever the case may be, and they become a part of the thing.
Yes.
So my thing, what I chalk up as success is at the end of the interview, especially when we're live on social media. By the end of the interview, and these are things I'm looking at, they're probably not looking at, is how many people said to me in the text, I just downloaded the song, or what the artist's name again? I need to go download that song there. I really dig this artist, and sometimes I'll screenshot those things later on, and then I'll send it to the artist, and I'm like, "So I'm talking about," because that's the era we're in right now, where they are not buying the music; they're taking a piece of you if they have connected.
You see, I think a couple of years ago, you and I had this discussion, but when this is what I think a lot of people were missing. And back in 2010, when TC Flex said, "Yo, Kevin Stew, I start in Flex FM, I have a spot for you." I did the same thing that just about every other person with a DJ before their name did. Went and played music. And realized quickly that there's more to this. That more to this is exactly that what you're speaking of. Because when somebody comes and sits with you, whether they sit with you virtually or not, a lot of the people that especially as a known artist, there's nothing that you are going to tell these people about that artist's music that they don't already know. But about the journey to make that music, about the journey of that artist to get to the point where he made that music, now that's a different thing.
Yeah.
So now you make that connection with those listening to whomever it is that is with you. And so you now have it better than a lot of us because you have connected with people through your work, and now you're connecting to people through working.
Yep. It's about loving this. People don't realize this. And this is a luxury I have.
Yes.
So because Homegrown with G Cole is Homegrown with G Cole, the business itself belongs to G Cole. The host of the show is G Cole.
That's right.
Right. The producer is G Cole. It's a self-run entity at this point in time, though we have contributions from near and far. But in terms of the entity rolling, it's G Cole. The luxury I have is I ain't got to answer to nobody yet. So the good thing is, when people say to me all the time, say, so talk to me about interview you like more than this and that and that. The truth is, I love every interview I've ever done. And the reason why, the people who I would not have liked the interview with, I didn't bring on.
You didn't have them.
That's
right.
Nah, it's not like I'm on the radio station or some major platform where somebody can say, this is your schedule for the week. I'm like, yeah, man, I read it. Only and Trevor big. Me don't want that thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I'm talking to people that I'm a fan of. Now, the other reason why we go in as deep as we can is some people love music and some people love music. For me, I love music. I am the guy that all the artists that I am fans of, any artist where I'm a fan of, I can tell you their real names. I can tell you stories, how the group came together. I can tell you this because I watch the documentaries. This is when them stuff was on tape. You know what I mean? And I know remember Boys to Men. I know remember Jodeci. I know where they came from. I know who produced this. I know the drill joints. I know and into reggae and the whole nine. That's what I'm into. I'm the one reading the credits on the cassette tapes and the reggae. You know what I mean?
You are Marlon. Blessed belated birthday, Marlon. Oh,
Marlon, happy belated birthday. You can't. Marlon, the encyclopedia. Marlon tell me things about me what me they know. Right? So that's Marlon, brother, right there for you. You got to read it. But it's one of them things where I am. And I guess this is what makes it engaging. I am just as into this interview as you are. Here's the deal. You're over here, I think.
Yeah.
Whether there were cameras on or lights on, I would be having this reasoning and loving it. So you just happen to be privy to that conversation going on right now. Imagine all these artists that I am huge fans of. Some of them have passed on. Some of them, just based on the sphere that we're in, I may or may never meet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
However, the ties that bind, cogs that, the spokes where hold the wheel together of all these people, I get to sit down and talk with, like a Bobby Digital.
Yeah.
You understand? I never get a chance to interview Sizzler. I never got a chance to interview Sanchez yet, working on them thing.
Yeah.
You know, D Brown's gone, Garnet Silk is gone.
Right.
And technically, I did when I sat down with Bobby Digital.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people ask me about the interviews, what's your favorite? Because I've sat down with, you know me already, the youth them do them thing, and I appreciate it. But I love the OGs. So when we sit down with Ala Freddie, when we sit down with Marcia, with Pam Hall, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With General Degree, with Ed Robinson, with the OGs, the legends, those things. Yo, I'm
you just call Ed Robinson the old.
Candy store.
You just call Ed Robinson the old.
OG, different. You know what I mean? OG. So, but people who have something to talk about that started before last week.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's I wanted them to know where it's a joy for me.
Yeah.
The younger artists, them, some of them wow you. Like when Lila Ike just came out. and I got an opportunity. She was still just had the single Biggest Fan, and she had like 3 songs out.
Yeah.
Way before all of them things, you know. And I had an opportunity to interview her. Because I fell in love with her. But I say, yo, outside their mother, you know, I'm a Biggest Fan. And as a matter of fact, depending on all the things that I got, I'm a bigger guy. You get the song for free, I buy me buy. So anyways, I could be considered the Biggest Fan. So the thing is, like talking to people like those and watching their growth. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just a beautiful thing for me. And that's what I think makes the difference. The goal is when we start that thing here, somebody asked me earlier on, what's your goal? You want to go mainstream, you want to do this, you want to do that. I'm like, my goal is to make sure that everybody that comes through South Florida wants to come through Homegrown G Cole. Right? That's my only goal.
Right.
And once we got to the point where people's managers and people's teams were like, yo, they're coming into town next week, can you? And I'm like, well, we're doing what we're supposed to do. And we can't stop loving it because, again, it ain't about the audience. They can, yes, you're enjoying this thing, but when I tell you all right, it's about me getting an opportunity for a reason. Imagine you sitting on top of Killer.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Bruh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that's where it's at. That's where it's at.
G Cole, or as Ed Robinson would say, G Freeze.
Yeah, bro.
Regin, glad you could spice up the Saturday stew today, because you really make a difference with it for today. Big ups to you. Much love, and continued support. You know, I got your back, although you're back brother than mine.
Love.
I got your back nonetheless.
Don't know.
See it.
We're working out
Straight.
And by the way, my apologies for coming on late. You see, whenever I'm traveling and whenever I come home, the honeydew list and all the things I'm not gonna win. So I'm out there trying to catch up and trying to make up for all these things. And I thought I was a young guy with, you know what I'm saying? Today, I crashed.
Listen, you heard when I just before I brought you on that KevinStew.com is back. It has been down for about 3 months.
Right.
I got the access last night.
Mad.
I just leave it right there.
Come back, baby.
I just leave it right there.
Mama, I love you. So, trust me.
Here's what I want you to know, because it's all about G Cole. I guess for the next, I don't know how long. I have the amount of G Cole tunes I have, boy. I have a few of them. And so I giving G Cole a strength right now. We're going to bounce through some G Cole tunes. But of course, I have to start with my favorite. And I want you to introduce it.
Well, this song right here is G Cole and Shayla Dow, and it speaks to the age-old convo between men and women. All right, what men want, what ladies want. It's called When Girl Meets Boy. Big up J-Vibe Productions on this one.
Trust and believe. Hey, one thing, I should have made you do this before I do that. Take off for the introduction again. Tell those that don't know, and everybody should know by now, how do they get in touch with G Cole? Where do they find you? What times you're on? Talk.
Too many. On social media, it's at my G Cole. So Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The easiest, it's at my G Cole. Send me a DM. That's what I call it, a DM. We're not at the point yet where the assistant is taking the message. So whatever you're sending right about now does come to me. However, I do get a lot. So if you send it today, I'm gonna get back to you tomorrow. I'm not just being an ass. All right. So it's at my G Cole, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have our YouTube channel, it's Homegrown with G Cole. You'll see the same image that you see behind me. We keep it consistent. So just subscribe to that YouTube channel. Majority of the interviews that are done in video and also the audio from the podcast goes to YouTube. There's some that we haven't even put up yet, but there's a lot of great content over there. There's a lot more to come. That's Homegrown with G Cole. You can email me at homegrownwithgcole@gmail.com. We keep it simple. The website is homegrownwithgcole.com. We're keeping it simple. And of course, the music is there. It's G Cole. Our G Cole and the Raps and Culture band is 3 albums. We have This Music Volume 1, Return to Vintage. We have Ultra Race, and we have Love Your Life. So there's a lot of stuff out there. The videos are on YouTube, but again, just go ahead and check it out there. Oh, by the way, the last one, the podcast, Homegrown with G Code, because that's what it's about. It's now been downloaded in over 49 countries worldwide, right?
That's right.
I guess if it's countries, it's all worldwide. But you
we're not gonna get
can
technical.
go on that one from
It sounds good when you say it.
iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere that a podcast is available for those people who listen to podcasts, and you need to get into podcasts too. Go download the thing. I just realized it was on Audible too. I wasn't even aware of that. So it's on Audible for those people who have the Audible on their phone because I'm listening to them books. Check it out. So, all right. And I appreciate everybody. DJ Kevin Zoom, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. And again, my apologies for being late.
No, brother. All right. So you're going to introduce the tune again?
Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know. On the In the Clouds rhythm, it is G Cole, it's Shayla Dow, it's a J-Vibe production, it's a big one, it's a collaboration, something for the ladies, something for the fellas. It is called When Girl Meets.
G Cole, háblame. Dime todo lo que estás pensando.
Much love, brother.
Quiero saber tus secretos.
Blessings, G, we link up.
All of them were the way Sheila said a while ago.
She plans to make you
Blessings.
My brother, we link up. Give thanks.
All right, brother.
Dime todo lo que estás pensando. Quiero saber tus secretos. ¿Te parece? When girl meets boy,
The son of G Cole,
she plans to
working out with Sheila Dow.
fall in love. Some kind of loving, make you
The son of Sheila Dow, working out with G Cole.
like there's no one else but you and I.
It's called When Girl Meets Boy.